You ready then, Rob?
Go for it.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the Truth in Taxation information meeting to order. I got a statement here I'd like to read. This meeting was called to give the taxpayers of the city of Madelia an opportunity to voice their concern over the city's proposed budget. This is not a forum for taxpayers to appeal their market value or their individual proposed property taxes. The purpose of this meeting is to provide information on the 2023 budget and property tax levy. What will your share of the property tax levy be? Property taxes are determined by the market value and classification of your property. The levy is spread among all taxable properties according to their net tax capacity. That's the blanket statement for the Truth in Taxation meeting. And what I found unique as we started, I saw the chart the other day, since the 2020, our property values have gone up and our tax values have started to decline. So that is what we're looking for to grow our city. Not so much if your values go up, your property taxes might increase at the same time. I do know that according to what I was told, and you can correct me, Jim, the biggest hit was medium income taxes, residential taxes for Watonwan County.
Medium and lower value houses got hit the worst this year, yes.
Yes.
For some reason.
So, and I believe my property tax went, and this isn't about a valuation hearing, this is about why we're proposing a 10% levy for levy increase for next year's taxes for the city of Medelia's proposed tax levy. But I do know that my value went up, so my tax costs are going to stay about the same. So, who is here first, and can I address your concern?
Well, I'm concerned, reference from last year, I was at 165.
Okay.
This year it went up to 217.
Right.
It's been, you know.
And this isn't the right meeting.
I understand what you're saying now. I don't know
Right.
it, I just showed up.
Right. And that's the meeting that comes in April.
Okay.
And that's the one you want to come in and voice your concerns about where your values changed.
But you don't have to wait till April for that.
You
If
can
you have
act.
Yeah, if you have a question on your estimated market value, you can reach out to the county auditor.
Well, I have before, when I seen it, well, they said that's what the market is showing at St. Paul's Board. That's what they put out.
Did they actually come look at the property, or they said they hadn't recent?
No, I just seen it, just
Yeah,
jumped.
so you can request another assessment or have them come look at it too. Or they can at least tell you the last time they did look at the property.
I mean, I don't mind if it goes up, but I like my neighbors go up and say.
Sure,
"Mark,
sure.
Right.
Up just a little bit, I
Right.
don't like 17,000.
Right.
The year before.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, so, and they might have other justification. They can really break it down, Maggie, or somebody in her office can really break down why it changed as much as it did. And it could have been something where they missed square footage or something in the past and just added it on now. It could be something where, you know, it had been previously undervalued for some reason and it just caught it.
Well, they say your house is nice, but I said, well, you look at my neighborhood
Right.
around me?
Well, and I think too, with
You're telling-
with prior year sales is what they're
Yeah.
going off at too, and
Right,
everything was
but-
selling
but-
like crazy.
And I agree what you're saying, but if the sales go down,
Well, it's gonna
our
take
value
it's
is
gonna
gonna
take
go
a
down.
couple of years for your value to go back down.
But then all of a sudden the market shoots down. That's
Yeah,
what's gonna
and
happen.
that's the downfall of it.
Right, it never goes down, it'll stay there.
Well, it's a 3-year cycle, but anyhow,
That's my concern.
Well, and one of the things that they probably won't tell you, but they probably actually do quite often is they'll make across the board market adjustments when the sales are, justified to get the numbers right. But then to move things back down, a lot of times they'll wait for a reassessment, or they'll wait for, cause we're on a 5-year
5-year.
schedule in town, so really only 20% of the houses in town are getting assessed, or not assessed, but are
They do
getting
it-
looked
they
at
do it
every
4 years.
every 4 to 5 years, yeah. So there's, some of those things, so if you do have a concern, it is, especially with the estimated market value, it is best just to reach out directly to Maggie in her office over there.
Right, and I look at it, when I talked to them before, they said, well, you got a nice house, well, you're telling me don't put nothing in my house.
Right.
That's the way I look at it.
And that's truly what they're,
I know.
what they really, for your best circumstance is have a house that looks terrible from the outside and is, super well finished on the inside and never let them in. That's what you're probably gonna get the best deal on, but
The problem is, Andy, people are like paying crazy, stupid prices for junk.
yes,
Is
that's
what-
very
Yeah,
true.
And it's hitting all
And like
of
I
us
say,
now.
that's what they're going off of.
Right. There's a lot of that.
So, but I do know our, tax capacity rate for 2023 with our, included, 10%, we're going to be at 60.341. And in 2022, we were at 65.547. So, which tells me that as our values of our properties all took an increase in the whole town, our net tax capacity went up. Our tax levy goes down overall. But you might not see a decrease because of the change in valuation, depending upon which type of property you live in. So,
I think the other thing to note is that not only did estimates go up, but the overall amount of properties and the value of new properties coming onto the tax roll increased too. So with all that said, that is the reason, not only just the market adjustment, but also new properties coming onto the tax roll is the reason for the decrease in the actual taxation rate, yes. And basically what that taxation rate is telling you is how much money you're roughly paying per $1,000 of estimated market value you own is going down. But the estimated market value for your property might have, like you said, gone up 17%. You're gonna be paying a little less.
It went up 235%.
Yeah, so you're gonna be paying more because of the estimated market value, of course, but the amount you're paying per thousand has gone down, so if the, if your estimated market value had been, close, and maybe it didn't change, or maybe it, changed some with depreciation or whatever, realistically, your taxes should be going down.
and I think it's Mark, right? No, Brian.
Yeah.
I'll get it right. Questions, concerns?
Not really. I don't think you guys wanna hear what I have to say, because this apparently is the wrong meeting.
Yeah, that meeting, and that gets mixed up, quite frequently.
My taxes have doubled in like 3 years, and it's gotta stop somewhere here. I mean, the economy is in shambles, inflation's killing every person in this room. Everywhere you look, they want money, and I just don't have it anymore. I mean, I can't do it. And you're shaking your head, yes, and you know what I'm talking about, we all do. I mean,
Just gonna run.
come on, people, I mean, I don't mind paying my fair share of taxes, like he said, but my neighbor and everybody better be too. And I know people that They've made improvement. I haven't even done anything in my house, Mike, for almost 15 years. And they have it way overvalued. Way overvalued. And every time I turn on the TV, I don't care what the market did 2 years ago. Where we're at now is what really matters. Nothing's selling. Interest rates are shooting up. It's gonna stop. I mean, they're giving this money away for 0.5%, 1-2%. That's why people are buying. We're in a bubble again. You remember 2008? I think most of us here are old enough to remember 2008. Well, history's gonna repeat itself. Believe me.
And I can't disagree with anything you're saying, and, you know, because I'm still a working person, and I still have one of those
Right.
same issues, and,
I mean, if I made $100,000 a year or more, I probably wouldn't have no problem with it. But I see the auditor, she got a $5,000 raise. I mean, I went to the county too, and it's just.
so did they come over
I
and?
do have an appointment to, for the assessor to come over and look at it, yeah. But I've been down that avenue before too, and I mean, you're preaching to the choir pretty much.
And I can't answer what's gonna transpire as interest rates keep going up and values keep dropping, and, Minneapolis, St. Paul, you know, they said there was a 40-day, time period now that most of those houses are sitting on the market for.
Yeah,
Their values have dropped from 310 to 270 because they can't.
They won't sell.
So the whole world and the whole US is gonna have, and hopefully somebody smarter than me can straighten that out, but.
I don't know, I believe the system isn't right either. They're basing these values off of a statewide where they're including the metro too. And nothing goes in and out state of Minnesota. You can go 15 miles away to New Ulm or Crystal, Mankato, and they're not the same as they are here in Medelia. I mean, let's be real. Let's face the facts here. The valuations are not the same. But we're almost paying as much here as if I moved to Lake Crystal or Mankato or New Ulm. I mean, and I'm not getting the same services here, I believe, that I would be there. So, that's why, you know, where's my tax dollar?
What
Where am I
when you
getting-
say you aren't getting the same services that you would get here that are there, explain that, please.
What's your name, sir?
Dave,
Hey, Dave. Brian. Well, one thing I can tell you is our recycling program. Almost every community around us in the spring or fall has a recycling day where you can put stuff out on the curb, they pick it up for nothing. Do they have that here?
no, they got rid of it in St. James too.
And we had it here a couple of years. The last year that we tried that in Medelia, Brian, it cost the taxpayers $25,000 to pick up somebody's garbage that they didn't want to take out on a regular basis. So we opted not to participate anymore.
Well, we are paying the recycling fee.
The recycling fee pays for the people that are picking up the mandatory state recycling in that dumpster,
Okay.
and that's where your recycling fee comes.
Well, my rebuttal to that is I wonder how much it would cost the county to pick it up out of the road ditches then, because I see TVs and stuff. And I'm not saying that's right, and I do it, because I certainly don't. But
Okay.
how much does it cost the county to go out and pick that up?
For the sheriff's office, we call and we let the highway department know, so it's coming out of the county highway coffers to get rid of it.
Well, that's still paid by you and I and everyone
Unless
else.
we find out who did it, and then we obviously charge them with legal dumping.
It's still paid by a taxpayer.
I mean, just as a citizen that you brought up that you're not getting the services that you get in Lake Crystal or Mankato or New Ulm. What else you got?
I'm not gonna delve into it.
Well, I mean, that's what helps the city move forward. I mean, if there's services that you're not getting here, that other communities are getting, obviously you've seen other things get done in other communities. We gotta know that or we're not gonna get any better.
Well, I feel our street department's been lacking the last few years
Yeah.
also.
On what?
Plowing, sweeping, you name it, just general maintenance of the streets. I mean, I live on Denzel, and I used to see the street sweeper several times a year. I don't even recall the last time, there's rocks swinging in front of my house all the time. They don't even sweep it in the spring anymore. Well, I suppose there's 20 ounce parking there, but at some point, it should be done. But, I mean, there's sand 3 inches deep in the gutter. I don't ever recall that until the last few years.
I live on Benzel also, and that is a county road, correct?
It is.
Yeah. So, anything else?
But it also, the city plows it and takes care of it also, so. I mean, whose responsibility is it then?
Okay.
I mean, I'm good.
Pass the buck to the county then, or what are you doing?
Evidently, we don't have much that other towns don't have that we don't have. Can we get better at sweeping? Sure, I bet we can. But I heard sweeping and recycling.
You know, another issue I have is with the swimming pool in this town. Why is it that our swimming pool is only open on one major holiday during the summer, which would be the
Lifeguards.
4th of July weekend? They're never open by Memorial Day, and they're already
Lifeguards.
closed by, I mean.
Lifeguards,
we're
almost
missing-
all your municipal swimming pools, if you go around, unless they have a very large group, but Fairmont can't open theirs because they have no lifeguards, and that's a town of 10,000 people. They don't open until after Memorial Weekend because they don't have enough lifeguards. The lifeguards are in school, and unless you have lifeguards, you can't open your swimming pool. And most municipal swimming pools, employ a large amount of young, talent that goes to school. So that is why Madelia doesn't open, because we can't get the lifeguards to, by rules, to have enough lifeguards on duty. But now we're getting off on why Madelia doesn't do this and that, and this is about the truth in taxation.
Sure.
So I'm moving on, Brian, thank you.
Yeah.
Joanne?
I just wondered if a little bit more of a breakdown. For instance, your revenue is expected to go up 24%. That's wonderful, but what's included in that? What is other revenue? What kinds of things
Well, I think
encompass other revenue?
We have enterprise funds consisting of everything from,
Are you looking at that budget that came with your tax statement?
Yeah,
Is that what it is?
yes, yes.
oh,
That one I
So,
can't answer.
the revenues that we're looking at and getting, or is it expenses? Revenues?
Revenue first. I was curious on what other revenue is. I suppose it's like the golf course and the
Yep.
swimming pool and
Yep. And campground?
campground, okay.
liquor store.
So any amenities that we can increase and enhance to bring in more revenues, that's what we're trying to do.
Okay,
Cause then that helps the bottom line.
yep, sure.
So the added, campground that we put on, the new fabric shelter that we'll be building down at the golf course for events. I mean, all of those things projected to bring in more revenue.
Okay. So
Which
then,
also offsets the cost of what the budget has to go up, because, then it's not, added into the budget.
Yep. So it's obviously just a projection, just like
Yeah.
the expenditures are.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So on public safety, does that encompass, obviously, police? Is fire included in there at all, or what else is included in public safety?
And I'll be honest with you, I really have to, that's a different, proposed budget that I'm sitting with. So, I would imagine public safety includes, ambulance, fire, and police. And so if you remember the ambulance, we own the assets on the ambulance, but they manage it. So we still have a projected capital, amount that we put away every single year for new rigs.
Okay, say that again, they manage it, but,
The hospital manages it.
yeah, but,
So we make sure that it's always staffed, so they manage it and they take care of it, but the townships and the city still own the rigs and the assets.
So we're putting away depreciation for replacement.
Yeah,
okay, I didn't know that.
that's in case if something would ever happen, that we would never lose our ambulance service. We'd have our assets to start up again and keep on going.
Okay. Okay.
And the big reason that happened that way, Joanne, is a few years back, the state of Minnesota required that we have at least 2 people on staff 24/7 to respond to calls. We couldn't voluntarily recruit enough people to maintain a staff
Right.
to maintain a reliable ambulance service. So this was a compromise between the hospitals and the townships and the city of Madelia to solve that problem.
So is that true for all small towns? They all
That is
have
true
to?
for all small towns, so
Okay,
you can go to Jackson, they're sleeping in the upstairs of that fire hall because
okay,
Lake Crystal, it's the same thing. Anybody that has a independent, it is true.
yep, okay,
But by merging with, or going with the hospital, we also increased our services, so we became.
right,
Yeah, we became better. We became a better service by working together with the hospital.
and they take care of the billing and everything too, don't they?
Yep, so the
That's
building is
biggie.
theirs, and then, but we have the rigs and the assets inside, so.
Okay,
And I believe now we're also ALS certified, correct?
Halftime. The service.
We went from the lower certification to the higher certification, which means we actually have a
Right.
paramedic or somebody
Right.
paramedic qualified on.
right,
So when we're adding more services, that is one service that some people really have benefited from.
yeah,
The other thing on the expenditure side, on the safety part, is we have a 5th officer.
Okay.
That's projected in that amount too.
did we get one yet?
So it's a work in progress.
Work in progress.
Yeah.
Get one, I'm gonna leave.
That's the ongoing struggle.
Yeah. Yep, yep. No, I didn't, it's fine, I don't have a complaint about it, but, I'm sure you're aware too of the, economy right now, and I help at the food shelf, and it's amazing how many more people are needing the help right now, so.
When there's 100% increase in need for food in our small town,
Yep,
and there's all these jobs,
right,
but they don't meet the inflation rates.
yep,
We are in a world of hurt in America, there's
Yeah.
no doubt about it. And it can't sustain itself, and it's gotta implode sometime, like Brian or somebody said in the 80s when everything went the wrong way.
yep, that's all I had.
That's a doom and gloom thing during Christmas, we really didn't want that, did we? But I guess it's reality. Anybody else got anything else on the proposed budget levy for the city of Madelia for next year? And for the Truth in Taxation, that is actually part of the Truth in Taxation. Then I could call for a motion to adjourn to Truth in Taxation, right? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn the Truth in Taxation hearing.
So,
Oh, they're here for the class that's coming in, I'm sorry. I have a motion and a second, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. We stand adjourned. Yeah, we have, a bunch of school kids coming in tonight for,